Mark Rogers TV here to tackle the Tim Tebow phenomenon. Can he play in the NFL? Can he play quarterback in the NFL? Should he play another position in the NFL? Well, I was one of those guys, and no, I'm not a scout. I'm not a football analyst. I'm not a coach. But I'm one of those guys who said that Tim Tebow would not be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And despite the miracle finishes for the Broncos 2 seasons ago, he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. But I'm going to swing to the other end of the pendulum and address those people who say this guy doesn't belong on an NFL roster. And also, I'm going to debunk the myth that Tim Tebow should be playing some other position. Because did you see him for the New York Jets try to play in the slot? This guy is not overly quick, fast, explosive. He doesn't have great hands. He doesn't have the agility or the body control or movement to make difficult catches. He looks like a fullback out there in the slot trying to catch the football. That's not the way to go with this guy. No, don't put him at linebacker. Let's look at Tim Tebow and compare him to all the second-string quarterbacks in the NFL. We're going to go team by team and, again, compare Tim Tebow against the current depth chart number 2 quarterback for all the teams in the NFL and tell you if we think Tebow's better or that particular quarterback. We start in the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills. Tim Tebow or Tavares Jackson or E.J. Manuel, just drafted out of Florida State. Tavares Jackson, 38 TDs, 35 interceptions career. Best season 2011 with Seattle, passer rating of 79, 14 TDs, 13 picks. Tavares Jackson, a very mobile quarterback, very inaccurate quarterback, took the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs, or should we say he rode along with the Adrian Peterson running game and the great Minnesota defense to the playoffs and made it to a playoff game. Tim Tebow is better than Tavares Jackson. E.J. Manuel has yet to play it down in the NFL. He was certainly, by most analysts' view, a big reach for the Buffalo Bills at 16 in the first round. We believe right now that Tim Tebow is a better quarterback than E.J. Manuel out of Florida State, but that could change down the road. At Miami, you've got Matt Moore, who has played some decent football in a starting capacity for the Dolphins and elsewhere. 25 starts, 33 TDs, 26 picks. Best season in 2011, Matt Moore, 87 passer rating, 16 TDs, 9 picks. Matt Moore's better than Tim Tebow. We give it to Matt Moore. New England, Ryan Mallett. When did we see him on the field? Last time we really saw him was at Arkansas, unless you watch preseason exhibition NFL football. Ryan Mallett can stand in the pocket and deliver the football. He's a big, huge guy. But we've got to think at this point, Tim Tebow can make plays. He's proven it in clutch situations. Right now, Tim Tebow over Ryan Mallett of New England. Okay, the Jets, of course, Tim Tebow's old team. And this, an interesting comparison, of course, you've got Greg McElroy. He and Tebow have some history with the Jets, and both in college, of course, when Greg McElroy would take Bama to the SEC championship game against Tim Tebow there in a couple seasons there in 08 and 09. McElroy's only real significant playing time in the NFL was against Arizona when Sanchez got pulled. He came in, led a drive that was mostly on the ground with Sean Green carrying the load, threw a short touchdown pass, won the football game 7-6, his lone career touchdown pass. So McElroy versus Tebow still has to go Tebow's way. He's a dual threat. He's a guy that's won football games. McElroy has not done that yet in the NFL. David Garrard's an interesting case because this guy was an underrated quarterback at Jacksonville. Check out what he did. Look at David Garrard's career. He took Jacksonville to the playoffs a few times, and most impressively in 2007, when New England was tearing everybody up, when they went undefeated in the regular season, Garrard and the Jags gave them a game, and he played a great game at New England. They took it to the fourth quarter. They took it late, took the Patriots to the hilt. Underrated quarterback in his prime. Well, he's 35 years old now. His last season in the NFL as a starting quarterback, 23 touchdowns, 15 picks in 2010. His best season, that 07 season we're talking about, David Garrard threw 18 TDs and 3 picks. So he's not necessarily that guy still, but David Garrard's still better than Tim Tebow by a long shot. So we go with Garrard over Tebow. Okay, on to the Baltimore Ravens. Tyrod Taylor, the last time we really saw him play, was running around for Virginia Tech, and he's got a big arm. He's faster. He's got a better arm than Tebow, but he's done nothing in the league. We go with Tebow over Taylor. Cincinnati brings us Josh Johnson, backing up Andy Dalton. In 5 starts with Tampa Bay, Josh Johnson has thrown 5 TDs and 10 picks. Tim Tebow does anything besides inspire a team and run around and make plays. He does take care of the football, doesn't throw a whole lot of picks. Josh Johnson does. We like Tebow over Johnson. All right, Cleveland brings Jason Campbell to the table. And yeah, Jason Campbell's been a journeyman quarterback out of Auburn, been with the Raiders and the Redskins and a few other teams. 71 starts and 76 TDs, 52 picks during his career. 82 passer rating, in that range. Much better than Tebow. Jason Campbell, not in his prime. He's past his prime. Never an elite quarterback or anything close. But he's better than Tim Tebow. Okay, Pittsburgh right now has Bruce Gradkowski with Landry Jones, of course, in the wings. Bruce Gradkowski is the backup quarterback to Roethlisberger. 20 starts, 21 TDs, 24 picks. We think Tebow much better than Bruce Gradkowski. So Tebow over Gradkowski. Houston Texans, TJ Yates a couple years ago, in relief of Matt Schaub, had to take the Texans to the playoffs. He won a playoff game against the Bengals, went to Baltimore. He didn't play great, but he took care of the football, and they almost upset the Ravens on the road. TJ Yates, again, won that playoff game against Cincinnati, lost against Baltimore, 5 regular season starts, 3 TDs, 4 picks. We like Tebow over Yates in a close one. Indianapolis brings Matt Hasselbeck to the backup role. Last season, or the last big season for Hasselbeck, you got to go all the way back to 2007. 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 12 picks. This guy's an accomplished quarterback. 8 3,000-yard passing seasons. Took the Seahawks to the Super Bowl in 2005. Has gone to the Pro Bowl multiple times. 201 career touchdown passes for Matt Hasselbeck. He's not that guy anymore. We get it, but much better than Tim Tebow. We go Hasselbeck over Tebow. Okay, for Jacksonville, we've got Blaine Gabbert, Chad Henne. They're going to compete for the starting job. Gabbert was taken in the first round out of Missouri. He's got 24 NFL starts, and he hasn't performed that terribly considering the supporting cast is awful. Probably the worst wide receiver core in the NFL in his starts, 24 at Jacksonville. Gabbert versus Tebow. We still like Tebow. He brings, again, the running element, and he's pulled out games that Gabbert has not. And, of course, Tebow's had the better football team at Denver. Chad Henne, this guy has a gun. He stands in the pocket. He delivers the football. Big thing, big knock against Chad Henne is he throws into crowds. He knows he's a gunslinger that can fit it in there, and he tries it too many times, and he throws a lot of picks. 42 TDs, 48 picks in his career, 11 and 11 last season TD to pick ratio. But again, no weapons in Jacksonville. If Henne has the weapons Tebow's had, and especially the defense at Denver, we like Henne over Tebow. All right, Tennessee brings in Ryan Fitzpatrick, a starter at Buffalo, so you know where we're going here. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a starter in the NFL, but as a backup, he might be the best. He's certainly one of the top 5 backups in the NFL. His guts are bigger than his arm, kind of like Henne. He likes to try to fit it in there, and he doesn't have the arm to pull it off all the time. But this guy went 24 and 16 TDs to picks last year, 3,400 yards. He's a top backup. Fitzpatrick much better than Tebow. Okay, we finish up in the AFC with Denver and Brock Osweiler. He's taller than Tebow. He's 6'7", we know, out of Arizona State. He's got little experience, if any. It's all in the exhibition season behind Peyton Manning, so we like Tebow at this point over Osweiler. Kansas City, couple guys that they bring to the table, and Ricky Stanzi out of Iowa. Should this guy have even started in the Big Ten? He didn't have that great of a college career. He's not played well in the NFL. Tyler Bray is almost the anti-Tebow. He stands well in the pocket, delivers the football, looks great throwing the football, but the intangibles aren't there. So we like Tebow over Stanzi and Bray. All right, Oakland, Terrell Pryor. This is an interesting situation because, of course, Tebow won the Heisman and he won 2 national championships. Really, one is the starter at Florida For Terrell Pryor, he had an outstanding career at Ohio State. We know it ended poorly, but this guy won 3 Big Ten championships, and then he did something that the Big Ten is knocked for. He actually won bowl games, BCS bowl games at Ohio State over Arkansas and Oregon. He was the MVP in both games. He got one start late in the season, actually the last game of the season for the Raiders against the Chargers. He's never going to be an accurate passer. Like Tebow, he's got flaws with his mechanics, but he's a faster Tebow and a bigger, more talented Tebow, and certainly more athletic. We're going to go Terrell Pryor slightly over Tim Tebow. And finally in the AFC, we've got Charlie Whitehurst for San Diego. This guy's like a modern-day Babe Laufenberg. Charlie Whitehurst. No, we like Tebow over Whitehurst. All right, that's Tebow versus the AFC backup quarterbacks. We're going to come right back here on Mark Rogers TV to line up Tim Tebow against the NFC backups. And of course, we've got to hear from you. Your take on Tebow. Should he play another position? Should he be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Or is he a backup? Or should he be doing mission trips overseas? Right here on Mark Rogers TV.